Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Down. I got to see Captain America Brave New World in the 4DX movie theater experience, and I'm here to tell you if it's worth it in the format. Before I get started, please make me your 4DX guy by subscribing to my channel, liking this video, hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any more 4DX content from me. So this was one I was very excited for as a film, and I was very excited to see it in 4DX. Beforehand, I was like, oh, this is going to be a phenomenal 4DX experience, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the best of the month, maybe the best of the year, and maybe even up there with some of the best 4DX experiences ever. But did it reach those heights? Stick around until the end to see my final verdict on whether Captain America Brave New World is worth it in the format or not. Some really solid seat movements. I will say there are some that did not match up entirely. They were a little bit too over-exaggerated. Or the seats were moving and I was like, they were moving in a weird way that did not match up with what was going on screen. There weren't many. There were a couple, especially in this lab scene, at least in my theater, really just a few. Other than that, I thought that it matched up really well with what was going on screen, which I usually do. Obviously, they can only do so much in a 4DX auditorium. They can't do exactly what is going on screen, but a lot of times I do find that it matches. Captain America and Falcon, so there is another character that's basically Falcon. He was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier in a smaller part, but he is back here. When they're flying, they're in their flight suits and they're flying. When they're going that direction, you do feel it in the seats as if you're going that direction. And then it kind of rocks back the other way when they go the other direction. Same things with any vehicles. The airplanes, the cars, the trucks, whatever. It's a rougher chase or a rougher flight. I do feel that jolt that way and this way to match as best as they can with what's going on screen. The rumbles and the vibrations, of course, are used a lot. There's a lot of weapons in here. Tasers that you feel the vibration with in the seat. You feel the massagers poking and punching you in the back. Obviously nothing too painful. Characters are getting kicked, punched, thrown hard against the ground, thrown hard against the walls, thrown hard against tables. It can be pretty rough at times in the film. The seat movements are matching that as best as they can while keeping it safe. Even something like the wings expanding on their flight suits, you're feeling the seat kind of vibrate a little bit with that. There's actually a lot of puffs of air at your neck and ears in this one. There's a good amount of puffs of air at your ankles. Any kind of weapon. There's a lot of missiles in here. There's gunshots, taser, laser beams, kind of. When they shoot out, you feel and hear the puffs of air at your neck and ears and at your ankles. Ankle stuff is especially for, like, let's say someone's in the air, they're aiming at people on the ground and trying to shoot them, but it's like missing them and it's getting around their feet or something. That's a lot of times in these movies when you feel the puffs of air at your ankles, but there's other times, really, it's anything near the ankles. When Red Wing shoots out the lasers and all that stuff, you're hearing that and feeling that at your neck and ears with the puffs of air. That was handled very well. I thought that matched up really well with what was going on screen. If it's too much shots, sometimes they won't do it with each shot. I think that's smart. But honestly, most of the shots in this, I felt or heard the puffs of air at your neck and ears. I thought the seats worked really well. The way that it was moving didn't always match up, but it was literally just a few times for me. There was some more downtime than I expected in this film. Other than that, I really was impressed with the seat movements, especially with a Red Hulk action scene near the end. That was really wild. That was consistent with what was going on screen, and it was like a constant scene. There's a lot of hard action in that third act. They're flying around the Celestial that's poking out of the Indian Ocean. That was a lot of fun. Water was used a handful of times. It was definitely more in the third act that I noticed the water. There's not as much in the beginning that the water can really be used for. Like I said, when they're flying around the Celestial in the Indian Ocean, there's some water with that. Characters will fall into water, brush against the water as they're flying over it. Both the water from the ceiling and also shooting out from the bar in front of you. So there's a bar in front of you that shoots out like mist. Air shots as well. After that, you know, with the Red Hulk stuff, anytime the Red Hulk got cut or anyone that like bled, you felt the water with the blood. Sam's wings would cut the Red Hulk and you would get some water action as if it's the blood. The water, though, I thought matched up really well with what was going on screen. The air is a standout here. They're in their flight suits, flying in open air a handful of times throughout the film, especially in that third act with the stuff flying around the Celestial over the Indian Ocean. You're feeling the wind in the auditorium blow around you, so you could feel that wind and be immersed into this movie even more. Some good wind usage, especially in that third act, but all throughout. Anytime Sam or Falcon are flying, when people are in an airplane and it's an establishing shot showing the airplane, you're feeling that wind with that. You're feeling the wind with different establishing shots, especially if it's like high up, like when it was kind of showing the Celestial, where the Celestial is, panning around it to show it. You felt the wind with that. That really helps immerse you into the film, especially a film that focuses a lot on flying. There's flight suits where these characters are just flying out in open air. That definitely fit in well. Fog was used a few times. It wasn't used that much and it didn't stay up that long. It just kind of shot up when it needed to. There's a couple uses with explosions and stuff with the dust settling and all of that. Red Wing shoots out the smoke that I think is supposed to distract the Red Hulk at one point in the third act with the screen smoke, and the fog goes up with that. The fog is never colored. It's just gray, white, fog, whatever. Again, fog wasn't a standout or anything, and when it was on, it wasn't distracting, and it didn't overstay its welcome at all. It stayed the amount of time that I think it needed to match up with what was going on screen, help immerse you into the film a little more, because you're paying to come to the 40X to have all these capabilities work and work well. Lights were used a handful of times. There's a lot of different weapons, and a taser, missiles, and lasers, and different guns. You're seeing the lights in your peripheral vision flash a few times, or flash once with like a gunshot. If something flashes more than once, it'll flash really quickly a couple times. That was all good. Again, nothing distracting. Lights are never distracting to me in this. It's not like they're pointing right at you, right at your face, and flashing. They flash along with a lot of the different weapon usages. Anytime a light flashes, really, in the film, there's like a taser-like thing that this is used with as well. Their phones are on the fritz, and they flash a couple times in their face. You see the lights in the auditorium, in your peripheral flash. All these are really nice added touches to really culminate together to make a really good 40X experience. Scent, again, I always say this, but scent, it's the same scent for me. I'm hoping one day maybe they'll change it up a little bit. I could definitely see scent being more memorable if it at least matched what was going on screen a little bit more. I definitely noticed it a couple times, the limo on the way to the White House, and then even when they enter the White House, there's this like science lab part, and the scent shot out with that, because there's all these different potions and stuff, probably trying to emulate something like that. I believe with the Celestial at one point with some establishing shots, it's not too memorable to me, but I did remember those few instances. So all of this though, still, even scent, all these capabilities really work together well to culminate and make a satisfying 40X experience. In generally, that's what you want when you go to 40X. I think that you do get that here. It wasn't as wild and as crazy and as intense and as fantastic as I expected, but I do blame my expectations for that, because I thought this was going to be top tier 40X. It did look like it from the 40X format trailer that was themed to Captain America Brave New World, and then obviously just the trailers for the film. Yes, those trailers of course try to showcase more of the action. It's more action in less time, of course. That definitely is a reason why I thought it was going to be super wild, and it is at times. It doesn't get like overly intense, I didn't feel, but it was consistent with what was going on screen for the most part, especially in that third act, from the Celestial sticking out of the Indian Ocean. They're flying around that. That scene was really fun. It was really constant in 40X. And the big Red Hulk action scene, the seats are constantly moving and the different capabilities are constantly working together during those scenes especially, but any action scene, I would say the Celestial part and the Red Hulk part are pretty constant, and they're the standouts of this 40X experience. It wasn't as great of a 40X experience as I expected, but with that said, it's still a fantastic 40X experience. Fantastic 4DX. It doesn't totally reach phenomenal 40X experience for me, but I still would highly recommend it. The only thing is, I think I've said this for a variation of this for a lot of the films this year, this film isn't getting the best reviews, unfortunately. I liked the film. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I think the 40X does help elevate a lot of the scenes. Not that I'm like, oh my god, yes, this was a fantastic movie because that 40X was good, because there's obviously films I've seen in 40X that I do not like or just thought were okay, but I do think that this 40X helped elevate the film and made it less boring to me, even though there is some downtime. That's the caveat here. Again, it's like I've been saying it for every 40X experience this year so far almost, that it's not the best film, but it is a fantastic 40X experience. Do with that as you will. I'm not the end all be all. I just like to be the 40X guy. It's higher up on the list of 40Xs so far this year, but as a 40X experience, it's a really fun one. Have you seen Captain America Brave New World in the 40X movie theater experience? What did you think of it in the format and just as a film? If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more content from me, please click around here to see some other content from me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the movie fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, make me your 40X guy, and go to the upside down.